Welcome everyone to Total Carnage Listen-Throughs. I'm Admin 1 of Vinny Effects, and today we're listening to the album Spreader by Unbrn, which is by a Total Carnage comrade named DJ Taxodium. I do recommend checking his stuff out, and I do apologize, by the way, to DJ for taking so long to get around to this, but here it is, and history is vindicated. So we shall begin. This is undoubtedly a COVID-themed album. So let's begin with the first track, Forced Quarantine. Already the forlorn chord ringing out. There's already a sense of longing to the track. Sublimating reflection. And at the same time, a chance to dream in the forced quarantine. Like the melody is left to sort of linger as the beat builds up. Kind of let it sit for the listener. Like the way that each of the chords sort of ring out and fade out also. I realize it's easy to say this given the theme of the album and the title of the track and everything, but I really do get a sense of looking out a window in the middle of something. What's with these interesting drum drops suddenly? Those two are sort of reverberating and fading out. This one, I believe, snare hit. Oops. When the beat changes, it feels at times like I'm suspended more in air for a moment. Now so many different things are hitting, it's like an ensemble of percussion happening underneath the main melody. There's even what sounds like almost like a xylophone hit at high pitch, but now something new. That line over the top, with a sense of how constant and serious it is. Now there's a feeling of being almost frozen. Not just in the sense of being stuck in the same zone via quarantine, but almost being like cryogenically frozen. That is fitting for the theme, being sort of suspended in a state, in time, as well as in space. But now we have Unknown Enemy. This is more mysterious and contemplative, it seems. But it still has that same anticipation building quality to it at the beginning. Just letting a single new drone, a new note, a new instrument voice, synth voice, and feeling introduce itself very gradually. probably stand to learn some things from Unbrn's patient use of build-ups in the beginning. For better or worse, my tracks can have like a bang and enter quality to them. They just kind of get right to it. Sometimes rushing in too much. This one feels like we're now off to the races in this album. Something disturbing, like down dark halls. All these different layers of these different synth voices interact with each other and add to the sense of wonder as we venture further in. Drums are building up very nicely. We've got enough variety. Here's another moment where I feel like I'm suspended in air, sort of. And every time I think I've got a new grasp on what's supposed to be the feel of the melody based on the sum of all the layers present, then a new one comes in that seems to change the meaning of those that came before, that are underneath it. But now it's more angular. Now we're in a battle. It's supposed to be a battle of knowing. I'm totally projecting because I see the title Unknown Enemy. Here we go. Now there's more of a sense of urgency about everything. More clear, realized emotion. Before it was like we were searching through the dark, and now we know that it's on for sure. I like the way this time one of the layers is just like a almost static sounding note that fades in and gets close to us and recedes rather than fading out like we heard in the last track. That calmer line in the background feels like we're starting to know more about the enemy. Sounds like the sound of an epiphany, like ding. I like that these electronic drums have variation throughout each piece. Like within each piece as well as between them. But now we're in Antigen. And again, that signature, anticipation building thing, something new, a new type of drone. Well, this time the note is less clear, sounds more like a noise. But then we're sort of taken by surprise. That would seem to presage some kind of big menacing drop, which started taking back into the chill and melancholy. And suddenly it seems as though the opening sound is the lament of the beast. What happened? Where did the sound go? This thing's freezing. Hold on a second. Sorry. Okay, I think it's back to normal. That was strange. Now we're having our anticipation built anew. The punchy synths, they seem like they forebode something really energetic, but it could be a false alarm too. We could be suspended in this state. Yet they're building. Cakes are coming in. Maybe in this track, maybe we'll get at some point the high-pitched emotive lead lines like we had in the first two tracks. Till then we're wandering around picking up more and more layers. More and more sense of our situation. Now that the energetic aspect started covering the initial shield part, it's taking over. Yes, here we go, as I was expecting. Now the opening realization established, we go full force. Might be sinking back down at some point. It's like a parade of different sounds happening. It's a good follow through for the emotional arc there. After a long expression by the high pitch, you get something coming up from underneath pitch rise. It's a bit more constant. It seems to respond to what came before. Completes the whole arc. Very curious to know, Unbrn / DJ Taxodium, what your general process is for not just composing but specifically layering, and how you develop arcs across a track with the layers. If there's like a specific methodology you use, because I'd be interested to know. Yes, now we're sinking back down to where we started. And now for loss.
Maybe you have no idea how you'll send all the kids to college. Maybe starting a business seems like wishful thinking. Or maybe even buying a home feels like a stretch. But that's all right, because at KeyBank, we know a thing or two about helping folks get past maybe. After all, sometimes doing more than you thought possible just takes a few folks that know you can. KeyBank opens doors.
KeyBank is member FDIC and MLS number 399797, equal housing lender.
Okay,
So we got the chorizo dumplings,
shit.
the cucumber empanadas.
Zara's food truck is popping off.
Come on, guys, let's pick it up, all right?
But if she doesn't find a new chef, her truck will be stuck.
Carl quit this morning, so Jessica, I'm gonna need you on the
Maybe
fryer.
I should
Indeed can help her hire
upgrade
great
or do
people
whatever
fast.
it takes to
I
just
need
get rid of
Indeed.
this ad shit.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Where do you find the perfect
A
project
third commercial?
manager? Well, we found him in his perfectly organized home office in Adelaide. But you can find him, and thousands like him, right now on Upwork. When the world is your workforce, finding the perfect project manager, designer, developer, or whomever you may need becomes a whole lot easier. Upwork, the world's work marketplace.
Alright. Now for loss. Ooh, warping sounds. That reminds me actually of stuff I heard in Weed Problem by Bull of Heaven yesterday. This time it's a progression. It's interesting. Despite what the title may suggest, namely this being a lament of loss of someone, possibly to COVID, get a more dreamy, mysterious feel from it. Like we're in a different phase of understanding whatever it is the album's about. You know, it does dwell a bit on the third note, which gives a feeling of having been sunk down. The way that the warping sounds complement the melody makes it seem almost like it's a chorus that is, in a classical sense, like in a play. Like normally, in a play, the chorus would be considered the musical accompaniment to dialogue, but here it's almost like the opposite, like the sounds or the chorus of the music itself commenting on it. Regardless of how this may connect to the word loss, it does feel like we're getting lost in the thick of things. Now it seems like the way the melody is getting put to seemingly like an arpeggiator. It's taking on like the warped quality of the warping noises from before. The high notes emphasize the realization what we're in. By the way, once again, Unbrn/DJ Taxodium, please tell me how you got those warping sounds, because I would like to use those myself for my own music. I don't know if you sample something or has some sort of synth voice or production technique you use to get that sound, but I like it. Warping sounds are coming back. like everything is getting bundled together now. If only for a brief moment. Before it starts to taper off at the last minute. More skeletal now that we're down to the sharper synth voices. Good looping echo fade out. Now we're in Fear of Psychosis. Oh, this is sort of a break in the code from the last 4 tracks. There was like a looping of a short and simple thing, but it's on a single note. It's like a loop of its own. Actually, sorry, let me go back to the beginning. I want to hear it again. Yeah, a combination of things. Feels like an inviting dread. Oh, but here's sort of like a single synth note. This is coming afterward. The title, Fear of Psychosis, seems appropriate because it seems like we're in the process of going mad, more or less. I got that feeling especially during the thick of the track Loss. It's like these sort of machine, even breathing machine noises. It's like we're listening to the countdown or something, almost. Even the beginning, I thought of the beginning of the track from E1, M2 from Doom. Had a fairly similar sort of a intro noise. I like that it's given room to breathe on its own again at different points, especially with the new drums added. Feels like we're fighting something. We're getting ready to face something. I noticed that these melodies, they not only taper off after being hit, including the punchier ones, with the more high-pitched lead line happening, but it also seems like it pans a bit to the left for me in the headphones. I hear the sound of hope for success in the fray. Ooh, now it's like there's water percussion instruments, whatever it is, the beads like turn up and down. It's like a light waterfall, babbling broken noise happening. It's like we're hearing the sign of future tranquility bubbling up from constant tension. the constant one-note stabbing. Initially, when it popped up, it felt like just tension, but now it feels like an aid to the changing melody happening around it on multiple layers. It has an emotional quality to the melody happening around it. But here we are in Temporal Immunity, and this is so far the most energetic, perhaps. Starting off with a kick and snare. This may be what Fear of Psychosis was preparing us for. Yes, it's pretty good the way that pops up and reverberates, tapers off, complementing the more angular riff happening underneath. Oh, first word. The way it's said over everything, it almost calls to mind like a constant broadcast, like some constant call that would be a called out over facility intercom. All these different lines are so slithering and insidious. What's interesting is that a lot of these layers, they sound like they're part of the ones underneath them that were here first, in a way. Like, it doesn't necessarily sound like, several layers put together, however congruous, but like something in some of the notes, some of these layers is like integrated into some of the notes or parts of the other. That's how it sounds this time, more than before. Actually, with the sharpness of the drums, it almost sounds like he's saying community, C-O-M-M-U-N-I-T-I, or I-T-Y. What's interesting is that, all these different layers, they, emphasize different points in the rhythm. They seem to, like, propel it forward. Give the, regular drum beat more of a sense of momentum. Interesting that this one's the fastest, and yet it's also, I think, the longest. Yep. This one and the next one, so they're like the mid-album epics. Now with the subtraction of some layers, others get more of a chance to not only shine, but convey like a brewing tension, like building to something else, suspense. Oh wow, just cuts a totally new part. That's sort of a new thing too. Bobby is sort of a switch out, like either make variations on the same underlying layer, at least so far, or they kind of switch them out like assembly line components. But this just naturally peaked and sang through this whole other part. Here it reaches the emotional peak from all the prior fury. And I like the constant punching amidst it all. Like, again, it's the same sort of quality that the last track had, where that single note punched at regular intervals, like adds emotional quality to all the other stuff that's dancing around it. And this time, that's how it's introduced, as opposed to like at least from what I've been able to tell, as opposed to something that's kind of like a countdown to death or something. What's interesting is that before it even knew it, it just kind of sank back into the earlier feel, and it didn't feel like an abrupt change at all. It just sort of just naturally flowed back. So that was a good job there, transition-wise. Excellent. Well, I need to go to bed now, but I will finish this later on. Next time. No, shut up. Yes, so next time on the Total Carnage listen through of the album Spreader by Unbrn, we will go listen to Social Ignorance, track 7 and beyond, possibly to the very end. Until then, thanks for watching. And thanks to DJ Taxodium for sharing this stuff. See you next time.